Okay, well, I don't know if anyone is here. The audio looks like it's working, and that's one of the issues that we've had before. Trying to use the mic from the microphone, but instead I've got a wireless lavalier mic this time, so we're going to try. But hello to anyone who is in here. I'm doing this by myself. I normally have someone operate the computer, uh, looking at chat and making sure controls are right, so I do apologize. If someone can tell me if the audio is coming in fine and they can see everything, then I will go ahead and get started. Cool. All right. So I see it in the chat. Thank you so much. So what we have here today is a little mini computer. Yeah, I'm not the mini computer guy, but I did go kind of crazy on buying them. And there were a couple that I never actually got the reviews done, though I started. And this little guy intrigued me right here because it looked a lot like the little T11 that I got, and I've got one here for comparison. So this right here is the little mini computer that I wondered if it could beat a Raspberry Pi, and I still haven't tried, though I've got a Raspberry Pi 4 waiting. I'm suspicious of this after seeing some reviews on some other boards that were similar. So once I've actually done that testing, I'll probably proceed. This sample right here, I think I got for like $20 when it was on sale. So it was actually, yeah, let's throw 20 bucks at it. But anyways, so I thought this right here would be a lot like it, but it's actually lighter, different in size, and has a brand name that I still can't say. It's in the title, and I'm not going to try to butcher it right now. But yeah, this was the subject of the unboxing fail. So if you happen to see that little banner at the top of my page, it's just a short little video. It's like unboxings are silly anyways. They're not really, but I just was having fun right then. All right. So before I flip it over and start opening it up, I just want to look at the chat real quick and see who we got. All right. Low Castle Tech, all too funny comments. And anyone who else is not in the chat, if you can, just hit the like button. That'll help out a lot. One of the things that really interests me about this here recently is I remembered this was supposed to have gigabit Ethernet, but when I saw what was reported by Windows and then again by Linux, it actually has a 2.5 gig NIC inside, and that was really crazy because I got it for about 90 bucks, and yeah, it was on sale and all that stuff, but it doesn't have that really great specs otherwise. So let's see, I can read it right here. Am I upside down? I think I'm right. So the model is a GK5. It only has 4 gigabytes of RAM and a 64 gigabyte ROM. The CPU is actually a dual core Celeron N4000. So if you pair that with a 2.5 gig NIC, you're like, why? So I think it was just kind of a random component, possibly. I don't know. Another difference between this and like the T11s was this actually ran on 12 volt like the rest of the little mini PCs I've got. So I've already got one of the feet off because I was starting to record this myself to use in a project, and I thought, well, I haven't gone live in a while, so this was actually kind of cool to do. The other thing I had was I was going to be trying out this little precision screwdriver set, which has already failed me. Didn't have the Phillips, the largest Phillips that's in here is a PH0, and I need a PH1. So again, I'm going back to the dollar store screwdrivers that I've had for like 15 or 20 years. No need to bring in the wrench this time to open it up, I don't think. Though I think someone would love to see a pool noodle. Another sticky foot. Let's go ahead and get all these off. Sticky foot. And sticky foot. So one of the things I'm actually curious about when opening it up is what the storage is like, because there were different variations of the GK5 that they showed with more memory or different storage, and this one says it's a ROM, whereas some said it was an SSD, and the exposed view showed like a NVMe drive. But having not opened it up before, I don't know exactly what I'm going to face. But real quick, unlike a lot of the mini PCs, you don't see a spot to add any additional storage. Even the little T11 here, it's got a spot for an SSD underneath. So I don't know if there's any external storage for this or not. So still didn't come out. All right. There we go. All right. Screws are out. Let's see what we can break. All right. Goodness. That's the wrong one. You would think that I don't have tools to do stuff like this, but I really do. Yeah, like automotive trim removal tools actually work pretty good for some stuff like this. Okay, well, nothing special there. It's just a case cover with a little rubber button to hit the power switch. All right, what do we see? Not a lot. So that's part of the NIC circuit. This right here, what the ribbon cable could be for, I'm not sure. It might be for another type of display, depending on what the board was made for other than a mini computer. So yeah, I guess I could turn it around right for y'all, get it in frame. Sorry. You'd think I'm new at this or something. And as I take it off, I'll look over in the comments. Oh, no, T11 is not like the Terminators, though. I don't know what the naming scheme for all these are sometimes. The GK and like the AK and stuff like that, the G generally means like it's a Gemini Lake, and the AK would be like the Alder Lake. So that's some of their naming schemes for stuff like this. But the T11 Terminator, I don't know. It could be that little thing right there is the start of Skynet. Yeah, as far as the $20 for that thing, that was like during Black Friday and kind of a steal. I was shocked. And I may be remembering it wrong. It may have been $29 instead of $19, but I'm pretty sure it was $19. Going over some videos today. And yeah, the screwdriver set, the case is a little bit worse for wear, but the screwdrivers themselves, I've used them a lot. And the screws that are in there, I'm really not sure what they came from. I think it was part of a CD changer I took apart probably 7 or 8 years ago. They've just been floating around in case I need them. But yeah, for something like that, with all the specialty sets and stuff to take apart, phones and the iFixit kits and stuff like that, it's really funny that I normally go around with something like this or this little tool from Harbor Freight that I've been using for a few years too. Problem with it is when you've got recessed screws, it's kind of hard to get into. And that's where these things really come in handy. And when I say this, hello, nobody. It's not a dig at the nobody's here. There is actually a user in the chat called Nobody23. So hi there. Yeah, old debit cards and stuff like that would work for opening up laptops. All right, let's just keep going. So it looks like just 4 screws to get the main board off the bottom. Again, I'm using a number 1 Phillips. And let's see, what can I break? Oh, not a lot. Well, damn, will you look at that? All right, I'm going to try to zoom in, y'all. Let's see what happens. Whoa, where are we going? All right, so we do have some really tight antenna here to the Wi-Fi antenna, cable to the Wi-Fi antenna. CMOS battery, it's glued down. Just a little connector, take that off. A little connector to take off the CPU fan here. That's another difference between this and the T11s, is the T11s had a passive heat sink, no fan thing. Yeah, that's really interesting. So inside, I do see a SATA connector, the data connector, and that right there would be SATA power. There's also an M.2 slot for it looks like a 2280 size. My guess is it would be SATA and not NVMe, but I don't know for certain. So that looks like the memory module. But I wonder what's under here. So 1, 2, 3 screws and a little connector. So what are y'all up to today? I was cleaning up my desk and trying to set up some stuff like a mic stand and a drop. Shoot, I can't even think of the word now. Anyways, a stand for hanging up drop cloths, you know, for taking videos on and stuff. My little Elite S800 G4, I put 64 gigs of RAM in it today. You know, just little stuff like that. I should be doing more like cleaning out my garage, because time is going to get real short here soon as I start an actual full-time job. Sorry, my hands will be out of the shot here pretty soon. All right. Ooh. Squishy. All right, so this is the little heat sink and fan. It is glued in there. It almost looks like you could replace it. Super light, so I'm assuming it's aluminum. Thermal paste. Yeah, it's actually pliable, so that's a good sign. All right, inside we have stuff. So let me get this around a little better. Okay, so that right there I think is actually the RAM. It's a SK Hynix module, and that would make sense. I could be completely wrong, but then that looks like another pad where there could be another memory module, so it could go up to 8 gigs probably. I think that was the max for the processor. So that right there, I wonder if that's our eMMC ROM right there. SEC 725. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up just right now. We have another little connector here for something. This pad right here would be a TF card reader slot. That is our Intel i225 NIC, I think. Don't have my flashlight. Well, that's a bummer. So we can get a little bit more light on it. Well, maybe I need to get these things out. It's an Intel chip. So I imagine that is it. Okay. I didn't realize how bad the light was coming across the video with it like that. So then our Wi-Fi module there of some sort. It's supposed to be 2.4 and 5 gig. I don't know what that is. You know, I have training as an electronics technician, and I can do a lot with computers, but I don't always know what all the chips are. So, but yeah. Yes, on a lot of these little mini PCs, the RAM is not upgradable, and that's one of the reasons I like opening them up and showing stuff like that. So if you're thinking that, oh, well, I can just do something, or, you know, if the RAM goes bad, I can replace it. No, if the RAM goes bad, unless you're good at soldering these little things, you're just not going to be out of luck. That's why I like gravitating more towards like the ones made by AZW, like the Trig keys, the B-Links, because they have actual SODIMM modules you can take out. But yeah, this is really interesting here. I'll have to dig into this a little bit more and see what can work. I may have a connector too, so I could hook up a SATA here. There's really no place to put it, but you could literally take this board out and attach it to something else if you wanted to run external SATA and an M.2 drive. It's pretty cool. All right, let's see what we got in the comments. Anything? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, well, do we put it back together? Do we go throw it out a window? Do we see if the cats will eat it? I think we just put it back together. If I can. Say I'm normally pretty good at this. So far, I've only killed one computer. And I think I killed it. It may have just died too, but coincidentally, it's the only computer I bought through AliExpress as well. So there was no recourse in replacing it. All the rest of these have been bought through Amazon, with the exception of the MP60, which was sent to me directly from Blackview. Can it run Crysis? You know, that is actually a really good question. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we could probably install Doom. That would be my guess, but beyond that, I don't really know. Oh, that's probably the one thing that is really lacking from any of my reviews is what kind of games can it play, and not really being a PC gamer. I think it's kind of hindering, but you know, I'm having fun with it. I don't know about y'all, and I don't know if you like really my approach. You know, everyone's a little bit different. So I could be more like some other creators I've seen that break everything that they're given. Okay, let's see. And I think this one was over here. I'm probably completely wrong. So yeah. This is probably not where it was, but I'm going to go with it anyways. These are the wrong screws. No, these are the right screws. What am I doing? What's wrong? I have failed already. Oh, no, I think I see the problem. So, but it's lining up. So those are the CPU mounts, I think. There's nothing really there. Oh, I get it now. Never mind me. I can see the logic and why they did it this way. It's not the first one I've seen where they're like, oh no, we put the hole in the wrong spot. How do we attach it? Just use a washer. It'll work. You know, Low Castle, I have not hit it with a pool noodle yet, but if you bear with me, we can do that. We can. I'm not very far from the garage and I could go grab one. Let me just make sure I get it back together first. So this little guy came with Windows 10 Pro, but I have wiped that and installed Debian Linux, I think. And the reason for that is I have Pi-hole set up on this as well. And I was thinking about replacing one of my Raspberry Pis maybe with this thing, or maybe when I segment my network so that like my kids have a separate VLAN than us, then it could be their dedicated DNS resolver so that I can block more things or monitor things more closely. Little feet, little feet, little feet. All right, no parts left over. That's good, but tools are all over the place. Please stand by while I go search out a pool noodle. Y'all ready for this? Okay. Well, yeah, so there's the inside of what it looks like. Is anyone interested in the performance? Spoiler alert, I don't think it does that well. It beats out the T11, but I don't think any other mini PC that I've bought that it, with its 2 cores, does it do very well. Let's just put it that way. All right, so I'm going to go back to the comments real quick. All right, hi TVJ. So glad you could join us. I know your schedule can be busy as well. You just switch from Ubuntu to Debian as your Linux preference. So yes, for mostly anything, I have switched to Debian if it is not going to have a desktop environment. If it is a desktop environment, I typically stick with Ubuntu. The one caveat to that is I have found Ubuntu server was better for installing once and then testing it out with a lot of machines versus Debian. So that's the one instance of a Ubuntu server I'm still using. It's on a drive. I plug in machines to do benchmarks and testing. So anyone in the chat, anyone looking later, if you like what you've seen, give a thumbs up. And if you want to see more about this little machine or any of the others, or want to see more pool noodle action, not trying to take away from Low Castle Tech, but if you want to see more of this content, more of anything, just random stuff, be sure to let me know in the comments. You can also check out my other YouTube channel, Retired AF Guy. I don't post as much there, but I thought that could be a place for more random content that wasn't specific to IT. And with that, I'm going to take one last look at the comments. Yeah, Retired AF Guy, because I am a recently retired Air Force guy. And with that, everyone, thank you so much. I am going to end the live stream here. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Can I do this like this? I don't know. Let's try it. I hope that your day is not terrible.